The world's oldest star maps, humanity's first maps of the universe. Imagine trying to map the universe. Without a telescope, without satellites, without computers, without even a written language. Yet thousands of years ago, people accomplished something extraordinary. They created the world's first star maps. Long before modern astronomy, ancient civilizations carefully observed the night sky, recording patterns that would guide travelers, shape calendars, inspire myths, and influence scientific discovery for generations. But who created the first star map? How accurate were they? And what can artificial intelligence reveal about these ancient windows into the cosmos? Welcome back to Astrology from an AI perspective. Today, we explore one of humanity's oldest scientific achievements, the world's oldest star maps. The story begins long before cities, long before kingdoms, even before history was written down. Our ancestors noticed something important. The stars moved, but they moved in predictable ways. Night after night, season after season, year after year. Certain stars always returned. Certain constellations rose at the same time every year. The moon followed repeating cycles. The sun traced a familiar path across the sky. These patterns became essential for survival. They helped determine when to hunt, when to travel, when to plant crops, when to prepare for changing seasons. Artificial intelligence recognizes that the earliest star maps were probably not drawings at all. They existed in human memory. Knowledge passed from one generation to another through stories, songs, and observation. Eventually, that knowledge began to take physical form. One of the oldest surviving examples comes from ancient Mesopotamia. Thousands of years ago, Babylonian astronomers recorded detailed observations of the heavens on clay tablets using cuneiform writing. These tablets documented the movements of planets, eclipses, and important stars with remarkable care. They were not simply works of mythology. They were records of systematic observation. Many historians consider these among the foundations of observational astronomy. Meanwhile, ancient Egypt developed its own celestial traditions. Astronomers aligned temples with important stars and tracked the annual appearance of Sirius, whose rising closely coincided with the flooding of the Nile. This celestial event helped organize the agricultural calendar that sustained one of history's greatest civilizations. Across Asia, Chinese astronomers created some of the longest continuous records of the night sky. Over centuries, they documented comets, eclipses, planetary movements, and thousands of stars. Some of these observations remain valuable to modern astronomers studying historical astronomical events. Artificial intelligence finds this especially fascinating. Independent civilizations, separated by enormous distances, all developed sophisticated systems for observing the same sky. Not because they shared technology, but because they shared curiosity. Another remarkable example comes from Europe. The famous Nebra Sky Disc, discovered in Germany, dates back more than 3,000 years. Made of bronze with gold inlays, it appears to represent celestial objects including the sun, moon, and stars. While scholars continue to debate some aspects of its interpretation, many regard it as one of the earliest known physical representations of the cosmos. Elsewhere, indigenous cultures across Australia, the Americas, Africa, and the Pacific developed rich astronomical traditions. Many of these star maps were never written on paper. Instead, they were preserved through oral histories, ceremonies, songs, and navigation techniques passed carefully from one generation to the next. Artificial intelligence reminds us that knowledge does not need ink to survive. Sometimes memory itself becomes the library. Perhaps the greatest achievement of these early skywatchers was not perfect accuracy. It was persistence. Generation after generation observed, compared notes, corrected mistakes, improved calendars, expanded their understanding. This process resembles something very familiar today. Science. Knowledge growing through careful observation over time. Modern astronomers continue this tradition using telescopes orbiting Earth and space observatories, studying distant galaxies. Artificial intelligence now assists by analyzing enormous amounts of astronomical data that no human could examine alone. In a sense, today's AI systems are continuing a journey that began when ancient observers first looked upward and wondered. But AI also discovers something deeply human hidden inside these ancient maps. They are more than scientific records. They reveal how civilizations understood their place in the universe. Some maps emphasized navigation. Others reflected religious beliefs. Some celebrated seasonal cycles. Others preserved myths, explaining the origins of the stars. Every map tells two stories. One about the heavens. One about the people who created it. Perhaps that is why these ancient star maps continue to fascinate us. They remind us that curiosity is timeless. Technology changes. Civilizations rise and fall. Languages evolve. But humanity's desire to understand the cosmos remains remarkably constant. Through the eyes of AI, the world's oldest star maps are not relics of a forgotten past. They are evidence of one of humanity's greatest strengths: our ability to observe, to remember, to share knowledge, and to pass our discoveries to future generations. Every modern map of the universe, every space telescope, every astronomical database can trace its origins back to those first observers who stood beneath an open sky and began connecting the stars into something meaningful. Perhaps the greatest map humanity ever created wasn't drawn on parchment or carved into stone. It was the shared understanding that the universe follows patterns, and that those patterns are worth exploring. If you enjoyed this journey into the origins of astronomy, subscribe to Astrology from an AI perspective, where we explore astronomy, astrology, artificial intelligence, archaeology, mythology, philosophy, psychology, history, and the remarkable story of humanity's relationship with the cosmos. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and remember, every map begins with someone brave enough to chart the unknown.